There were many tensions between the great powers leading up to World War I, whether in the Sudan, between France and Great Britain, or the Franco-Prussian War. These incidents kept causing friction and resentment amongst the great powers of the time, so much so that most leaders of the early 20th century saw a great war as inevitable, either with or without some damned foolish thing in the Balkans, as Otto von Bismarck so famously predicted. The Anglo-German naval arms race was one of the main tensions that plagued Britain at this time. Germany sought to undermine Britain's naval dominance near home waters in the North Sea. The idea was to threaten Britain into making concessions on Germany's terms. This was proposed by Alfred von Tirpitz and adopted hastily by Kaiser Wilhelm, who had a deep-rooted Anglophobia. This went against Otto von Bismarck's plans, who desired a string of alliances to play Europe like a diplomatic chessboard, and not to make Germany look like a looming threat to the heart of Europe. Yet with the naval arms race, Britain saw it as so. Germany didn't have such a large colonial empire that would justify such a drastic increase to their navy. To Britain, it was seen as a challenge to their policy, the two-power standard, where Britain would keep a navy bigger than the next two smaller navies combined, usually being Russia and France. Yet under Alfred von Tirpitz, Germany was closing the gap rapidly, with 5 naval fleets acts between 1898 and 1912. In response, Jackie Fisher was appointed by PM Lord Asquith in 1904, resulting in the making of the HMS Dreadnought and more capital ships being placed in the British Isles rather than the Empire. A war plan was also conceived to blockade Germany in the outbreak of war. Tirpitz would try to match this new ship, but by World War I, Germany only had a total of 12 dreadnoughts, whilst Britain held a total of 22. Yet in the last few years before the Great War, German policymakers shifted funding to submarines and army for fear of growing Russian militarization in the east. Germany's naval build-up culminated in the indecisive Battle of Jutland. Germany's ships were then destroyed at the Treaty of Versailles, and restrictions were placed on the German fleet, scuttling German naval ambitions for a decade.